Hey everyone, welcome back to GizMonk. I'm Junaid and Happy New Year to you. This 2023, I thought I'll come from behind the camera and host the channel going forward. Kind of like putting a face to the voice you've been hearing on this channel for quite some time. Gizmos and tech are a big passion for me and I'm glad to share the same enthusiasm with you. So thanks for subscribing and hoping for your continued support in the future. So today I have an exciting review for you, one of the most eligible budget gaming laptop from Asus, the TUF Gaming A15. But before going to the review, if you're new here, do consider subscribing to the channel because it helps a lot. Okay, let's move on to the review. As usual, the Asus product packaging is really good with even a handle for the box. As we unbox, we are greeted with some paperwork and the star himself. Wow, right off the bat I can say the color graphite black is really punchy and the design looks great. Sharp lines and gaming aesthetics are everywhere with the prominent TUF branding from Asus. It doesn't feel too heavy or light either, just the right weight for the gaming laptop. As we dig further, we get the 150 AC charger as well in the box. Let's move on to the case and design now. The case looks amazing. Asus has got the gamer vibes and looks spot on with this laptop. The TUF logo embossed in shining metal in the middle gives it a sharp look. A brushed aluminum feel and raised middle line reinforces Asus military grade certification. There's a nice indent or dimples on the either side which makes the grip better. A textured honeycomb design on the base adds grip and echoes the hexagon reinforcements around the chassis. The case has medium thickness and the bottom part of the screen gives way to a cutout with the prominent TUF Gaming logo and system LED lights. As expected, it is a fingerprint magnet gathering skin oils. This color is called graphite black and the other color that's available is the Eclipse Grey. But I prefer this color better. Anyways, Asus should get credit for bringing a premium look through its TUF lineup, even though in plastic, but making it look more closer to metal. Thumbs up Asus for the design. Now let's move on to the screen. The display is a 15.6-inch anti-glare Full HD IPS level display having 16:9 aspect ratio, fairly decent with 250 nits brightness with 62.5 sRGB color accuracy, and it will do the job. Designers and coloring professionals may need to look elsewhere for a different panel. This is an average display, better for daily work and multimedia consumption. The main highlight is the 144Hz refresh rate screen, which will make display smooth while gaming. With adaptive sync, the display's refresh rate synchronizes with the GPU's frame rate to reduce the lag, minimize stuttering, and eliminates the visual tearing. In simple words, meaning it gives you smooth gameplay. And for the ability to do one-hand opening of the lid, it passes the one-finger test. But I feel there is still a bit of improvement required in that regard. Now, the keyboard is backlit 1-zone RGB gaming. Anyway, we can't expect a 4-zone RGB backlit keyboard in this price range. The keys are really solid, very similar to Acer's Predator gaming laptop keyboard. The keys are brightly lit and looks good in dark. The dedicated WASD keys are in white color, which is very helpful while playing intense gaming sessions. The key presses are good and the feedback is great. Now with the trackpad, I must say that I was a bit disappointed. The size is small and left and right click buttons are very soft and feels a bit loose. As most of us use mouse with laptops most of the time, this may not be much of an issue, but I still wish Asus made the trackpad a bit more bigger and better. I didn't notice any keyboard flex, and thanks to the solid build and as I said, the key presses felt really good. Now the speakers. Speakers are not bad, but it lacks bass similar to laptops in this category. The sound was not up to the expectations initially, but after I installed a third-party sound enhancing software, it sounded way better. So stay tuned and subscribed for a short review of that sounds enhancing software in coming days. The speakers are placed at the corner of the base so that you don't block the sound when you keep on your lap or bed. Asus could have put in a bit more effort in making the speakers better, as people use this most of the time for listening to music and watching movies. Agreed that most of the gamers may use headset and this may not be an issue for them, but good speakers are a minimum requirement these days. Anyway, they are not bad, and as I said, can be enhanced with the third-party sound software. Now let's move on to the ports. You have all the main ports, and naturally that has increased the size, but I feel it is well designed even then not to make it look too thick. So you have 3 USB 3.2 generation 1 type A port, 1 USB 3.2 generation 1 type C port supporting the display 1.4, one HDMI 2.0B, one 3.5mm combo audio jack, which is the headphone or mic, the LAN cable or the RJ45 port, and then the power in plug. I think Asus has been a little bit tricky here, compromising a bit on the generation of USB port technology. For instance, both the Type A and Type C ports are generation 1 instead of generation 2, and the HDMI port is 2.0B compared to 2.1 FRL, compared to some of the Lenovo laptops of this almost the same price range. Agreed that this is not much of an issue for the casual user or gamer, but that's something you should be aware of. In terms of the graphics, Asus has put in the NVIDIA GTX and RTX series graphics card in these models. The top configuration has up to NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3060. The version I'm reviewing today has the GTX 1650, the workhorse of graphics card these days, and the best budget graphics card you have today for playing games at mid settings. Since this is a test and proven graphics card series, most of the games should play in low to mid settings. In terms of cooling or thermals, 4 heat pipes and 3 heat sinks absorbs the heat or the warmth from the CPU and GPU and transfers it away. Asus uses 283 blade fans with what they call self-cleaning 2.0 design, which they say will help the cooling system stay debris-free, with 2 anti-dust funnels located at the edge of the fans, catching the incoming dust and dust particles and channeling them back out of the chassis. An extended heat spreader on the CPU further helps keep the processor at an optimal temperature. Asus also claims that with the 0 dB technology, the fans switch off completely when the CPU and GPU temperatures are below 60 degrees Celsius in the silent operating mode. With scenario profiles, it automatically changes operating modes to optimize performance and acoustics for the different games and applications. There seems to be ample cooling vents and fans, but as expected out of the budget, thermals and cooling fans can't be compared to other pure gaming laptop thermals of high-end machines. Anyway, this should be a satisfactory gaming experience for the casual gamer. And it's not hard to notice the similarities in design compared to Asus Predator Helios cooling vents. Asus seems to be inspired by the Predator design with the keyboard and the cooling vents. In terms of the CPU, AMD continues its newfound dominance against Intel with its Ryzen processors. Built on the new Zen 3 architecture using the 7nm fabrication technology, this version has 6-core 12-thread Ryzen 5 4th Gen 4600H processor. The top-end models go up to Ryzen 9 processors, which are more powerful and obviously more expensive. These days, AMD has proven itself to compete effectively with Intel, and hence you can save some money if you go with an AMD system. In terms of storage, it has a 512GB SSD drive with an option to add one more on the M2 SSD slot. The top model goes up to 1TB. I found the SSD to be pretty quick, and I think Samsung manufactures them for Asus. Memory is a dual channel 8GB DDR4 3200 MHz in this version, which is pretty decent. You have the option to upgrade to 32GB with all the additional slots. The one thing that I noticed is that this version has only one stick of 8GB RAM, and if you use one more additional RAM in the additional slot, you can make use of the speed which the dual channel provides and hence more performance. So for the gaming enthusiasts, memory and SSD upgrade would be better in the long term. It also has Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.1, which is quite up to the latest standards. In terms of battery, Asus has put in a 90 Wh 4-cell battery. It should be sufficient for a 5-hour backup, and this should be much better than the 3-cell models from some other brands at the same price ranges. So summarizing, if you're looking for a laptop to be used for your work, college or school, and if you're just a casual or occasional gamer, this would be a good buy. Asus has made some minor compromises with the speakers, trackpad, etc. But it's not a deal breaker. You should also give credit to Asus for bringing gaming laptops to masses with the TUF series compared to some other manufacturers who charge unnecessary premiums for the same specs. The overall build quality, versatile NVIDIA graphics, keyboard and overall package seems to be going well for this TUF A15 series. And Asus, good job. So that's it this time from our channel, everyone. We have a new surprise review coming next week. I'll give you a small hint. It can fold and talk. So stay tuned. Take a moment to like, subscribe and turn on the bell notification to get the latest video uploads such as these. Until then, see you. Peace from GizMonk.